Oh, you got your first salary. What? Don't blow it all at once. But congratulations on money. That's really good to have when you don't have it. But so this sublevel one here is this sublevel. I just created a new level. If I go load into SL01, it's just these sublevel pieces. Um, there's is there even anything in here? I don't know. It's basically empty. But if you load into Arena Test, it's got these two pieces of geometry. It's just got these two things here. So what you want to do is you call make current for the persistent level, and basically when you start the level, there's nothing there. But I can load in that sublevel right there, and it'll show up. So if I call make current for this one, I'm actually working within the sublevel. So if I'm working within the sublevel, I can just like go add a platform here. And when I hit play, it's not actually going to be in the sublevel, it's going to be in the main level. And when I go trigger the sublevel, the platform shows up. So what you'll be doing is you can toggle the visibility on all that sort of stuff. And you can see all the chunks coming in there as you do that. So if you had some extra, collect the MacGuffins and all the rest of that shit, we can easily do that and change post-process volumes or whatever. Anyway, I figured that's kind of how we'll be constructing missions. We'll be using sublevels for any special things that game modes don't cover, such as if you have a trigger volume that you want to spawn, critters or something else in there. You can, we can start doing some of that sort of stuff. And it's also kind of the Unreal way to load all this shit together. What classically sublevels are used for is loading stuff in and working across everything else. So since sublevels are different files, somebody could check out like the light baking portion of the sublevel and like mess with all the lights in the scene while somebody else changes the geometry. And somebody else could, you could chunk the level out into, the water temple over here and then the boss fight arena over here as sublevels that get loaded in differently. So sublevels are pretty simple to work with. So it's kind of the right way to do stuff. That's what it's looking like. And the blueprint code for actually loading a sublevel is super easy. You just call load level with the name of the sublevel. So it has to be in the level list, I believe, though. And yeah. So that's all I got for sublevels. Just I'll be using them, and we'll want to use them for missions, I believe. They just kind of make sense as far as I see right now. Alright, so I'm going to try this. Basically, I'm going to disconnect this begin play here. So the load sublevel thing isn't going to be something that we have to worry about. And I want the load sublevel to actually come from the arena level thing. And it's going to be inside of the pre-stage. So I'm going to need a variable which is going to be the levels that are currently loaded. So we need a map of, maybe a set is a better one? No, not a set, but yeah, actually a set of strings is what we need. So this will be loaded sublevels. So let's make a function here which is called load sublevel. And let's have a boolean here for if we're supposed to reset level. Alright, so if loaded sublevels contains the name of this guy, so we'll have the level name. Alright, so if this is false, then all we have to do is call load sublevel, which is this load stream level. Conflicting nodes substituting during copy paste. Alright, so we need to change the name of this guy. So it's not load, so ensure sublevel. How come I can't call load stream level? I mean, this is parent class is Dashkin level actor, which is just an actor. How come this is available inside of load sublevel? Parent class is trigger box, which is part of an A trigger base. Alright, let me just take a look at this. I really don't understand why we can't load a sublevel in here. Blueprint callable. Category game. Like, load stream level should definitely be available. How is this not? How is this not available? Like, what the fuck? This is a static function, blueprint callable, and I can't call load stream level. Like, that makes no sense to me. And how come the trigger volume is able to load a sub-level, but this other thing can't? Like, this makes no sense. It's a trigger base is on a fucking actor, so why isn't trigger box like, okay, let's go boot up the goddamn ball and see if the ball can load stream level? No, loads Dashkin object actor can't do it either. So does it have to be a trigger volume? Why would a trigger volume what you're asking for is not really what you're asking for. You're basically asking for, I want to vote for a map, then I want to vote for a game mode. Pretty much. Stream level call again for fishes has no effect. There's got to be something else in here with class settings or some crap which makes it so this stuff works. Okay, what? I can call load stream level from the Dashkin object actor test character. What in the absolute hell is going on here that I can't call it from the arena level? I mean, the ball is a freaking... Okay, okay. It's because it's inside of the event graph? Oh, Jesus, that is asinine. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Karakan. It's just as soon as, like, you can put in some more changes for stuff, I think, but basically what you're asking for, what you should be asking for is something else. You should be identifying the problem. The problem is the options that I want are not showing up on the vote screen. So the solution to that problem, what you're proposing is one solution, but there are other solutions that would more permanently solve it. Because if you then have one map always showing up, what happens when we have more than 5 maps? We have a problem, right? Basically, you'd be saying, well, I want no duplicate maps to show up. But then what you'd be saying is, I want to play a certain map, but I never ever get the certain combination that I want. So it's more of what you would want for a voting screen is going to look a little bit different than what we've got. Like, if this is the voting screen, what you'd probably be voting for would be stuff like... Yeah, but as soon as you start talking about any of this stuff, it all comes together. What I think you'd be looking for would be more of something where you could kind of vote on all sorts of stuff. So you'd have like, which map do you want? And then that sort of stuff. Either you'd have 2 phases, one where you vote for the thing, which wouldn't... having 2 phases kind of sucks because then you have more... And we're going to have more maps. There's going to be like, 8 different maps. So the chances of you getting the thing that you want is just not going to happen. So I think basically we need a completely separate thing. Because we'd have the same problem if we had 5... if we had like 7 maps, which we'll have shortly, even if they're all different maps for the options, you're still gonna never get that one map that you want. It's still gonna be the same thing, and we're just putting the problem off until a little bit down the road. And I don't like implementing solutions like that because we only have so much time. Alright, so sublevels.get. We need to add this guy. Yeah, honestly, I think what needs to happen is basically this whole thing needs to be reorganized if we really wanted the voting stuff to work, and it would have basically, your maps on the top or something like that. And then we've got the option and you click on one of these and you click on one of these and it just has like, the thing that I'll do, and then you can basically have two different votes at the exact same time. Because we wouldn't want to have two different screens, that's just going to be too much. The question would be, how many maps are we going to have that this stuff is going to be a problem? It'd basically what I think would need to happen is we'd have a random collection of levels at the top. So it would select 5 different levels out of all the levels we have, and then it would select, 5 different game modes. And you can vote twice, basically. You can vote for one of them and the other. That way, it's going to be, Mushroom Hall will be up there, and the first game mode is the last game mode. And you're like, awesome, we want to play Mushroom Hall. Oh, it's like the same thing, but this one has multi-ball on it. So you're like, all right, cool. So I want to do that one, and then this one, and yeah, I think that's closer to what we would want. The other thing is, of course, the voting system and everything like that really isn't how the game should work in kind of long term. We pretty much need matchmaking with where you just get dumped into whatever. And a lot of like the voting options are usually more geared towards games like where you're making custom servers and doing all that, where you really want to set them up, and even the voting is almost bad. You want somebody just making the map. And the voting's really old school. So it's almost as if you're going to have a custom server like that, just let people vote for an admin or something, and that admin person who is the game master can just go pick, click the options and hit go. Like at that point, you get diminishing returns for more work on a voting system. Eventually, just let the one person who makes the maps do that sort of thing. And give them a good drop down. It's basically like there are these servers, and you can go to them and somebody can, you know, be voted as kind of the game master. Like, there's a lot of ways to do it. And then give them like a shuffle button or something, and they can just click through everything and all that. Okay, so if it is loaded, then what we need to do is we need to unload it and then load it again. Alright, so we're going to have this load levels for stage. It's going to be the current stage, and what we're going to do is, let's see. So if get current stage, break current stage. Let's see, reset level is true. Then what we're going to do is a for each on the loaded sublevels. What do you mean I can't do a for each over a set? So for every sublevel that already exists, we're going to call unload sublevel on it. And then we will just grab the current stage, we'll grab the sublevels for every one of them, and we'll call load on it. And we will never reset. What? The for each loop isn't set? Oh yeah, this is trash. Okay, so where do we want to load sublevels? We want to load stub levels on I guess pre-stage will load the sublevel. So pre-stage will load everything that we need. So, alright, let's go into our mission here for this guy. So level 2 is not going to reset. Level 1 is going to load the Arena Test SL01 sublevel, and this guy is not going to load anything. So what should happen is we go into our mission, after 10 seconds it plays a cutscene and also loads in all this stuff, and then we go back into the level and we're playing the regular game. You know, I would have expected that whole Unreal, needing to use the event graph thing, having something like load stream level is not available unless you're on an event graph, because it's something with a timer. But then again, that's just me being annoying. So we should load in, we hit start, 10 seconds should go by, and then we load in our sublevel. So cutscene. Sublevel is not loaded. So the issue with this is that the load levels for stage is not what we want, right? Like set pre-stage. Well, let's just throw a... We should be calling set pre-stage, so it should come in here. Because the only other thing that has voting is like Halo and games like that, where you can vote for, usually it's the same game modes on different maps. And they have tons of different game options, and usually just one, the host picks all the game options if you're doing a custom game, and they have all sorts of stuff like that. Alright, so what did we do here? So we didn't go to pre-stage, we went to loading stage, and this guy was skip this guy, so we went to in stage. Well, we went to pre-stage cutscene, so pretty much it's when we go to in stage that we should load levels for the stage. So maybe I should just do it that way. So let's go to set pre-stage. loading stage should actually load the stage, right? That's what we're supposed to do. That's why the state exists. So set pre-stage should not load levels for stage. Load levels for stage should happen during the loading levels for stage state. Kind of makes sense. So where do we call set loading stage? Server destroy all balls if reset level. Yeah, so we just hit play. And we should be able to see what this does. Alright, and then we've got our level here. And we finished our stage and finished our objectives. If we go back to start, our level has been unloaded as we expected. And there we go. There we go, sublevels. Alright, awesome. So that now works. So I think I'm pretty much going to call it there, because I got sublevels, I got all that stuff. I'm pretty much done. I'm yelling at Karakan for suggesting things. So that's probably a time to call it quits. Alright. So let's see what we changed. Default engine, I added... What did I add? UI scaling rules? What? Those weren't checked in? Load widgets on dedicated server? Overlap all dynamic? Yeah, we fixed that. Hardware. Oh, the hardware cursors were already there. They were just in a different part of the file. Alright, that's fine. Okay, I should actually boot this back up, and what I'd like to do is I want to throw a trigger volume in there with a second sublevel which gets loaded as part of the blueprint there for the sublevel. So I'm going to turn that trigger volume into a load sublevel trigger volume. And that way Adam can experiment probably more easily with some of the sub-level stuff. So he can type in a name, hit save, and then, you know, a trigger volume that loads a sub-level for him that he can go run and jump into and have fun with. Because then what he can do is he could go change one of these levels into something pretty cool looking. So I think I put it in test content, Bracken Sack. Got this BP load sublevel. What I need to put in here is Bracken Sack. I guess it's inside of gameplay, and I should have mission widgets. So let's move this guy over here. So we can throw one of these in here, and this guy needs a variable, which will be the sublevel name. Let's make you a string. I'm gonna get you and slot you right here. So all right, so we've got that begin overlap on the collision component. So basically this will grab the player's actor and do it that way. So let's go to our test levels, prototype, arena test. So if we go to levels, I'd like to add a new level. So create new, let's call this arena test SL02. So we've got this guy selected. Let's actually copy this from this sublevel into this other sublevel. Oh, that's cool. So you can copy things from across sublevels. Let me go see if there's something that we can actually go grab that's... Now, I don't know where Adam puts anything in this game. Such as, what I want to go find is I want to go find the... like the two Prowley statue dudes in this level, and I would expect them to be in something like objects, background objects, Prowley, statue asset. But that's way too logical. Yeah, it's inside of materials, right? It's inside of materials because that makes sense because this thing here is a material. It's like, no, it's a thing. It's an object in the world. No, we can't have that. Well, this is inside of. This guy, which will load this guy. So SL01 and SL02. Those two guys are in there. So if you jump up there, it'll spawn those guys in. Okay, so if we go to this guy, we can go to our default. Now we want this guy to have a category, which is going to be sublevel. So can we copy the sublevel name, or do we have to just type it in? Looks like we have to type it in. I mean, this is the best level. So the problem there is that we Alright, so the problem is that we're switching levels and our viewpoint isn't getting saved. So what we need to do is actually save the viewpoint. Which is going to have to be on our game instance. Alright, well I'll fix that after I get this, because this is a good repro. This is the black screen issue I was seeing with basically the loading of the UI not setting things up properly here. Alright, so, but this should basically, we start the stage, it's empty, we wait 10 seconds, and then we can go run and jump into that thing and spawn the critters. And they're the critters. Very good. Alright. So let's go to our game instance. Our game instance is going to need to have an EBS viewpoint. Alright, so what do we have here for the declaration of EBS viewpoint? Let's just set viewpoint 1 as our default, just because it's simple. And then we want a static class here, and set active viewpoint. And we'll get a get active viewpoint. Alright, so basically we need to change our viewpoint utils to set this thing. So activate viewpoint is going to need to do new Dashkin game instance, set active viewpoint type. Alright, so this will set our active viewpoint, which is, this is what's called by our UI, I'm pretty sure. We'll call activate viewpoint Yeah. And so that'll set our cache thing. Because what's happening is basically the UI is loaded and has already called activate viewpoint, and then the level loads and it doesn't grab like the active viewpoint or anything else like that. So I needed to begin play of the arena level object, which needs to get the viewpoint stuff. So basically what I need to do here is have another thing, which is activate last viewpoint, and all we're going to do is call get active viewpoint on this guy. Like that. So I'll have to compile that again, but whatever. Fixing all sorts of things today. I just gotta say it, I think pugs are ugly. Stupid looking dogs. I don't like them. Alright, so what is this? Yeah. Just get rid of that. So let's see. Bot feedback stuff. People are probably still writing that up. I like how this theme that we have for Dashkin forums is old. I guess it's old. Let me just see. If I switch to the default theme, yeah, there's nothing there. But so the theme for our forums, is it the theme? Yeah, it's the theme. The theme we have for our forums is so old that its share has dig on it as the first one. It's got dig, delicious, and then stumble upon, and it's just like, shit. I guess this theme was made back in 2007 or 9 or something like that. I think dig is more circa 20. Yeah, it's got to be like 2008, because I remember it's like 2011 or something, where everybody left dig and went to Reddit. The Great Migration or whatever the hell it was. I remember that. That was a failure of epic proportions of a site. Because I think it was every single post on Dig was the same goddamn 50 comments every time of just people posting ASCII art.